Huge. Hey guys, what's up?
What's happening?
Thanks for joining us for another live. Yeah, we weren't on yesterday because we were hanging out with friends, spending quality time with some friends for New Year's. Hopefully you're all having a great New Year's. So I guess we'll wait maybe a second or two and see if anybody jumps on here.
What's funny is that when you get up in age, people start to get sleepier earlier.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that the last couple of days, thinking it's, I don't know, is it going to be us? I don't
think
know.
around 10 o'clock, it was starting to slow down.
Maybe, I guess. But we were active all day long into the evening.
It's true. And there were a lot of kids running around too. That's you don't necessarily have to be doing anything for them to wear you down.
That's true. Even though we were trying our best to ignore them. It's still, you could hear the noise, the sound. All right. Well, I know it's not our normal night, so we may not have anybody jumping on tonight, and that's okay. We're going to go ahead with the live, and then hopefully some of you guys will tune in later and catch our reviews. So the first movie that we're going to review was recommended by my brother. Thanks. It's called Leave the World Behind from 2023.
You go. Probably won't take long, right?
So, hey, Gedrold, thanks for joining us.
You.
All right, so Leave the World Behind. It was kind of one of those world is coming to an end kind of movies. Julia Roberts is the main star in this movie, so I was kind of excited to watch it when I saw she was in it. But I was quickly let down, I guess.
Quickly let down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
the setup of the movie was maybe
it was
about
a good setup. It was
minutes.
good through it, but then the end was so disappointing. Go ahead.
All done? That's the review. So the setup is okay. A 0 out of 10.
Yeah. No, it's not that bad. It actually kept our interest and kept us wanting to watch more. Go ahead.
Okay.
Get to the letdown point.
So I thought the setup was great. You have the wife went ahead and set up a vacation this is a family of 4, 2 parents, 2 kids, and she thinks that they just need to get away for a little while. I think mainly for the parents, but obviously for the kids too. And then they go to this place. It is far from many other neighbors. There's ingredient number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And
giant, almost glass house.
And it's really nice. It's got all the amenities. It's a pretty luxurious house.
Huge pool.
Yeah. And nothing weird is happening yet. And then later on, in the middle of the night, you have what appears to be a dad and a teenage daughter approach the door. And so they can see each other. Was it through a peephole or through a camera?
Yeah, through the peephole, I think.
And they can talk to one another through the door. And the husband was probably the most annoying at this point because he was way too trusting of these strangers coming in the middle of the night. I don't care.
So the stranger said they were the owners of the house and that they had to be there because they couldn't get to their home because there was a blackout. Why the quote fingers? And the dad didn't even question it, just let them in.
Very, very trusting, and the wife, rightfully so, was very apprehensive to letting these strangers in, even if they claimed that it was their own home.
I don't care. Middle of the night, you don't roll up in there and say, "Hey, this is my house. You got to let me in and stay the night." No, that's not going to happen.
The guy tried to be understanding of that fact and pointed it out, and he tried to be accommodating of the fact that what would a normal person do if if you had some people knocking on your door and in the middle of the night asking to be let in, claiming that it was their home? Just no-go situation.
The thing that got me was the wife asked him for ID, and he left his wallet.
What's with the quotes?
Right. With the quotes. I was following your suit. He left his wallet somewhere else.
How
so he
convenient.
had no identification to even prove who he was.
What does that look like?
The reason the husband let him go ahead with his thing is because the man knew where money was in the house to give them half of their deposit back.
So slowly you're starting to pick up the clues that, okay, maybe he's telling the truth, but still I would be on my guard this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just waiting for something bad to happen. And
you've got my kids in the house. No.
What was the first sign of things happening? Did they turn on the news?
So them saying that there was a blackout in the city.
Okay.
That all the lights were out. They couldn't
call.
Right.
Phone service.
Yeah. Internet and phones were down. Yeah. Then they turned on the news, and there was emergency broadcast was up for the blackouts and for a few other things.
Yeah.
I can't remember all the details of the other things that were happening, going on.
Here's another strange thing. The daughter went outside to the backyard, and all the deer. This is not
hundreds.
Just one or two. Yeah, there were
hundreds of deer
lined up along their property line, just staring
at the house, at the girl.
Yeah,
really weird. I'm sorry.
They were just there. Yeah,
these giant bucks and these huge deer are just standing there staring at me, I'm gonna have a little freak out moment.
I'll go back inside the house.
The girl just stood there, and she actually walked up to them, and they didn't budge. They just stared at her.
So that was one weird thing.
Really weird. And then there was papers flying down from the sky, red papers that were in another language. Yeah, the dad went into town to try to see if he could figure something out because their internet and phones didn't work. So he was going into the town to try to figure out what was going on, if he could find out. Well, his GPS didn't work either. He's not from there. So he couldn't figure out how to get back into town, but he started seeing this
to get them
paper raining down from the sky. He looked at one of the papers, and it was in another language, so he didn't understand what it was. Brought it back to the house.
I think it was
the son knew what it was from a video game he had played, and it said "Death to America." So they kind of were then figuring, okay, well, this is either a joke, B, hackers, or C, somebody's trying to destroy the U.S.
The other weird thing was the sound. It was a high frequency sound.
Yeah, so there were different things that happened one after another.
Yeah.
And I can't remember all of the things in the sequence, but one of them, was this really loud sound. And the kids were out in the woods.
Lasted a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Enough to bring them to their knees, cover their ears.
While they were on their knees, the kids, a bug bit the son. And you find out later that it's a radioactive bug. So it ends up causing these weird things to happen to him. His teeth fell out, and
he started wiggling it and then just pulled it out.
Yeah, and then he started pulling all of his teeth out.
Really easy.
And then he was coughing up blood and just so gross.
So he was sick, and then what else was the other weird thing? The Teslas.
Yes. They're all white Teslas. All no owner, so they were all from a dealer, brand new. Automatically being driven down this one designated road and slamming into each other.
Because the dad was on that highway trying to find a way out. That was the only road. That was the only road that gave access to anywhere.
Right, to get out of town. So they were trying to get. Well, it was the whole family. The whole family was in the car. Remember?
Oh, you're right.
Because she's the one that got out and ran up to the Teslas and realized these are all new.
Yeah.
There's no drivers in any of these.
Yeah.
And then it occurred to her what was happening as these Teslas start flying down the road. So they're driving opposite these Teslas coming at them head on, trying to miss them to get out of that roadway.
There had to have been 30. No, it was miles. It was miles of white Teslas that had backed up on the highway.
Because it showed from up above, and it was a lot. It was so strange.
Okay, and then they went to a friend who knew was what we call preppers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people know what preppers are. Prepping for doomsday, so they're
Doomsday prepper.
stocked
Yeah,
with
yeah.
supplies.
Yep.
And so they visited him. It happens to be Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Of all people.
I almost didn't recognize him at first.
Yeah.
He looked so different. But yeah, it was.
And then I think he had a daughter, and a daughter that was probably teenager, maybe a little bit younger. And he was armed with a shotgun. And the guy approached him. This is not the dad I'm talking about.
It's the other guy, the homeowner.
Yeah, the homeowner approached him.
Because he knew him.
Yeah. And he was surprised to be met with this apprehension. And they're just trying to get help. At this point, trying to get help for the son. Who
right.
was sick.
And the neighbor's ideal was, if the world is ending, I don't want to get rid of any of my stuff. Like, yeah. I saved all this stuff. I prepped all this stuff for us, not for everyone else. And if other people know that I am giving out this stuff, then it's going to be, I'm going to lose everything. I'm not going to have what I need, basically, is what he's saying. So it was kind of a selfish thing because he had the things that could help the kid.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to give it because what if they needed it? What if things were coming to an end? So, hey,
killed
thanks for joining in. So anyways, it was weird, and it was kind of all leading, to more and more doomsy stuff. It just kept accelerating to the doomsy stuff.
The prepper guy also got those flyers, but it was in a different language. Asian language.
So yeah, doomsy. Hey,
they said it was the Koreans, I think.
So yeah, the flyers came in different languages. So
yeah.
I don't know if that was supposed to tell you then that it was hackers or that multiple countries were working together. They kind of had discussion like that. Hey, Miyoko.
Kevin
Bacon's
character.
Yeah, kind of had discussion about multiple countries working together to kind of destroy.
Yeah, like one of the first steps to collapse a country was confusion.
Yeah. So anyway, so you have this big, all of this stuff is leading into this. So you think, okay, there's going to be this big catastrophic disaster, right?
Now, up to this point, all the acting is really good. There's the teenage daughter of the homeowner is probably the most annoying.
Yeah,
one.
Just because
she's just bratty.
Yeah, she's
just bratty. Feel an entitled kid.
Yeah,
and
one thing we didn't mention was the daughter of the family who was going on the vacation. She only wanted anything to do with the show Friends. So the entire movie, she is trying to watch the next episode of Friends. That's kind of her whole goal through the entire movie is you're seeing her trying to.
Yeah. And then they lost internet connection.
There was no internet. So she's
bummed.
Just, acting kind of bratty herself in that she couldn't get what she wanted.
Yeah.
And she didn't care about all of the stuff going down, all of the doom that's happening around them. She didn't care. All she cared about was being able to watch the next episode of Friends. Yes, Friends, the show Friends.
So the family stuck together pretty much. There was a tiny bit of conflict, but they stayed together.
So the dad and the son who was sick did split off with the homeowner, and they went to the doomsday guy. And then the wife, the daughter, and the other daughter.
They went to go look.
We're going to look for the younger daughter who went missing. She decided just to up and leave because she had seen a house on the other side of the woods. So she was going to go check this house out and see.
All by herself, didn't tell anybody.
To see if there was anybody there and she could get internet to watch Friends. So she took off. So then it was the mother and the homeowner's daughter who were kind of out in the woods looking for her.
Yeah.
That's when they saw kind of destruction in the city. They were able to see a glimpse of the city and they saw
there was a plane crash,
things blowing up and a plane crash and all kinds of stuff.
The city was getting bombarded.
And then they did spot the house. And so then the mother knew right away, okay, that is where she is. She went to that house.
Yeah.
And so you see them start walking to the house. Then it flashes back to the girl in the house.
Now, it turns out to be there's nobody there, but then she stumbles.
It's a vacation home for the family that lives there. So they're not in their vacation home. They're at their real home.
And then she stumbles into this heavy metal door, and then behind it is a bunker. essentially what it is.
A whole stocked
bunker.
bunker.
And it looks nice, made to live there for a long time. If things were to go
How many
down.
homes can one person have? Well,
This is a different person.
lots of people have 2 homes, so they'll have their
Oh, okay.
regular home
And
and
a
then
vacation home.
a vacation home. So that, of course, would be the upper class or the retirees, mostly that have, the rich that have the multiple homes. Middle class and below are lucky to have
Usually
one.
don't have second homes.
Right? You don't usually have second homes.
Well, so what she found was a wall of DVDs.
Oh my word. And she finds Friends.
Yeah, she found Friends.
So she puts in the Friends DVD and starts the episode she was looking for.
And the movie's done.
That's it. That was it. That's
The
all you
movie's
see. The
done.
movie was done. It went to credits.
Dumb. No Friends music or anything. It
Nothing. No closure. No ending to no, I'm not kidding. And it was so right. What was the point? You have to just imagine what happens. Did they all find the home and stay in safety? Did they just watch Friends forever after that? Nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get no closure. No ending. Nothing.
I actually enjoyed the film for the acting and anxiously awaiting the big reveal of what has been going on, the explanation of all these things.
Yeah.
And even it's good acting. It's a good build-up.
Yeah,
and
we were wanting to watch. It kept our entertainment. It kept us interested, and then 100% let down.
I mean, I'm starting to think this feels kind of long. Is this going to be over soon? And then I kind of feared.
Oh, it's over.
I kind of feared that
It's over.
when she started watching Friends, it was going to be done. And sure enough, my wishes came true. And then we were just speechless. We were literally
we just
speechless.
sat there staring at the blank screen for probably 10 minutes before we looked at each other and go,
because it was late.
Dumb!
It was late. And I said, your brother did that on purpose. I told her it was like friendship bread and passing on a curse.
It's like that Village movie. Well,
Village
at
movie
least
was
you
good.
get the ending of that. You
There
know
was
what
an answer.
happens. You get closure.
Answers were questioned.
This, we got
Well.
nothing. We got nothing. So I don't know this one's going to be a tough one to rate because it really had good build. It really, really had good entertainment value. It had good acting.
Yes, it ends how it started with lots of questions.
Yeah.
How would I see? It's going to be tough to rate because I would not recommend watching this movie, and I think that goes into part of our rating system.
Yeah, it needs to. I guess.
I don't want to curse anybody.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want a movie that gives you no ending and you get to imagine your ending, great, it's an 8. But if you're somebody who needs closure and needs the completion of the story, I would say this one's probably a 1 or 2.
If you like the zombie movies where the bad guys win, you'll like this movie.
I
Because
mean,
there's
nobody wins. You don't
there's no-
know
there's no
who
hope.
wins. There's no ending. There's no ending to this movie.
I'll give it a 5.5.
I'll give it a 3.
So, okay, watch at your own risk, and we're preparing you for a bad ending.
Yeah,
I
and no
can't-
ending. There's no ending. There literally is no ending. So
That's more accurate, and I can't
Yeah.
think of another movie that's
no.
like that.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. So yeah, if you're looking for a good build of a movie and good entertainment,
Good
but
story.
no ending.
There's a lot of F words.
There
There are
is
a lot of F words.
there is a lot of language. So I need an ending. I agree. I
Yes.
need an ending too. I need to have closure at the end of the story. That the story led me somewhere, but this story really didn't lead me anywhere. Okay, so there you have it. That was
Yeah.
Leave the World Behind from 2023. Watch at your own risk. That's what we'll give that one. The next movie is called Sound of Freedom from 2023. This was put out by Angel Studios. It had a lot of big hype around it when it was at the theaters. It's basically about sex trafficking.
Mhm.
So it is around the world, and unfortunately, how much of a moneymaker it is in the United States.
Yeah.
So
First.
this movie kind of starts out with it shows a couple police officers, and they are tasked with watching videos by sex traffickers and sex predators and putting them behind bars, basically. So these guys Either they pose as a predator or they get to know the predators and try to gain their trust and then bust them.
I think these guys worked for Homeland Security.
Yeah.
It's the official branch of the government they worked for.
Yeah. So the head guy, he did just that. He kind of acted like he was becoming friends with this major sex trafficker that kind of facilitates U.S. kids coming into the U.S. and being sold throughout the U.S. So he's kind of has a big hand in that. So this police officer befriended him, shared a cigarette with him, acted like he was becoming his friend, and told him, hey, I want you to get me a kid because I'm interested also. And so the predator, of course, being a predator and seeing the money in it from a police officer, figures, yeah, okay, I'll trust him because it's been weeks and weeks that we've sat here and bonded, right?
At first, he says, "Well, what am I, an idiot? To trust a cop, essentially."
Yeah.
To give up all the secrets.
So you see him kind of apprehensive about going along with it, but in the end, he does end up getting a hold of this kid to give to the police officer for a night.
It's a whole sting operation. And when they're at the restaurant, he tells what they need to know, and then the rest of the security comes in and apprehends him.
Yeah. So he gets arrested. He gets hauled off. Well, in the meantime, they have all the information to get this kid. No, he's not a bad cop. He posed as one, but he actually wasn't. It was a sting operation.
He infiltrated.
He infiltrated their system. So he actually got all of the information to go and get the kid out of the possession of the sex traffickers. So
he had 4 or 5 kids himself, something like that. He had a big family.
Yeah, he's a dad of, I think it was 7.
Several adopted.
He had 7 kids.
I think
yeah,
a mix of
himself. So he loved kids, and he hated what these predators were doing to these kids.
Sting operation is a setup.
Yes,
you're in it with the bad guys undercover. They have no idea you're a cop, and then once the police have all the evidence that they need to book them, that's
then they go in. Mm-hmm. So they were able to get this kid back. So the head police officer realizes that the kid has a sister that's still in that system, that's still being trafficked, and she was a pretty little girl, and so he knew that she was going to end up in dangerous hands. So basically the whole movie is him trying to figure out where she is being held and going in and getting her out. It's his main goal.
I want to go back to the setup of this movie. It shows a family, I think, from Honduras.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I think Honduras, and it's
a dad, single dad,
and a really young teenage, maybe
no,
pre-teen.
She was probably 9,
preteen,
9 years old, maybe.
So way young, and then the little
5-year-old boy, he was
that she was talking about. And so this woman comes over advertising a modeling agency, and that their kids would be perfect actors or models for this agency. And so they go along with it. The dad takes both of his kids to the meeting place, and then he was told that, oh no, the parents can't come. You're dropping your kids off.
You could drop your kid off and come back hours later.
And then the guy reluctantly went along with it, and then sure enough, he takes the bus back to that same spot at the told time, and it's cleaned
out. Nobody's there. Nothing
Talk
is
about
there.
The sinking feeling in your stomach. This is a hard watch.
And Honduras is known for its crime lords and its drug habits and other things. Just a lot of crime and a lot of things.
Yes, kids, the ninja veg.
They take them as young as being able to walk. They'll steal these kids and sell them into sex slavery.
As less than a year old, I think they've tried to take them. So as she said, the rest of the movie is tracking down the sister, and he was using government resources
within the U.S.
after begging for the resources to be able to go after this group. And then at a certain point, he was finding out, home base was finding out what was going on. So we got to cut you off. We can't justify
Right.
all of this. And so he went on his own.
Yeah.
So he was no longer being funded.
Yeah. And he went into Colombia and Honduras and I think one other country trying to track down this girl. In the meantime, he had this idea to set up this major sting operation in Colombia, I think it was, where they were going to build, buy this land that's gorgeous land. Yeah, they did buy an island or a section of this island, and make it into a hotel for these predators, right? So this is how they kind of posed it. So they go out and they get all of these people that are in that system, in the trafficking system, involved, excited about this hotel coming. This is a place where, one-stop shop, basically. And they could have all the kids they want in one evening and blah, blah, blah. And so they market, a hotel for predators.
And can't be justified because.
So this is the setup. This was what they were proposing, getting all of these dealers involved, getting all of them
he was
psyched up for it.
Homeland Security not being able to justify pouring all the funds
because it was not U.S. based. They wanted to keep their funding within the U.S. and kids being transported to the U.S. So they said because he was going rogue, is what they called it.
Yeah.
He wasn't intercepting kids coming to the U.S. anymore. He was intercepting kids going country to country within South America.
So I guess
U.S. could not justify using funds to stop kids from other countries that the U.S. does not support.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that. I mean, his higher up felt bad about it, wanted to help him, but said, look, I can't. I have to draw the line here. This goes against our contract with.
It's a tricky situation because you've got to look out. You do have to look out for your own country, and you can't just try to help everybody.
Especially when the U.S. is a top-rated country for sex trafficking. So there's a lot to do within the U.S. for them. Their job, as busy as it is, there's a lot of money that needs to go into trying to stop it here in our own country versus, going country to country to try to find this one girl. So that's kind of how they couldn't justify that. There's hundreds, if not thousands of kids coming into the U.S. daily that they needed to try to stop, that they couldn't use the money to just go after this one girl. Right.
At this breaking point where he was about to tell his connection in Colombia or Honduras, he said, I can't continue. I have to go back home. And then the guy kind of starts questioning him, why do you
what
do
if this was your kid? What would you do? And so then he's like, well, dude, of course I would go after her at all costs, whatever it takes.
Well, the one guy that wore the hat all the time, he so I'll call him Jim Caviezel. Jim Caviezel is the guy that plays. I think the real guy, his name is Tim Ballard. He asks this connection, why do you do this? And he told him this story where he had paid for this prostitute and later find out that, she was not 18 or a little over 18. She was 14. And then that's when he realized the darkness inside of him. And so he turned his life around and now is going after all of these predators.
So this guy that he's talking about now lives in Colombia, and he kind of does this within Colombia, tries to stop the trafficking there in his own little thing. So he poses as being part of the action, but he's really not. And he intercepts a lot of kids secretly and turns them in to authorities and gets them out of the hands of the traffickers without the traffickers knowing that he's doing that. So that's kind of his inside job. And that was all because of his incident where he ended up with a young child and didn't realize.
And he said, that's why I operate in the black instead of Tim Ballard, who was, or Jim Caviezel, the actor, was
who had the money.
Government funded, working for Homeland Security.
Well, no. So you're getting them mixed up. So the Tim Caviezel, he's the other friend. He's the friend that he contracted to build the hotel and to get the hotel set up.
No, Jim Caviezel is the Homeland Security guy.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's the Javier guy.
Yeah.
Okay, the other guy is the Javier guy. He doesn't look like him there.
Jim Caviezel is the guy that played Jesus in The Passion.
Yeah.
So if you've seen that movie. The
Anyway,
Passion
back
of
to
the
the
Christ.
hotel thing. So they go and they do this hotel thing. So so there's this main girl, and she was Miss Columbia or Miss 100, one
She
of
was
them.
something.
She was a Miss whatever her country is. And she's doing this undercover, doing this sex trafficking and making a ton of money doing it. So she is attracting the girls because of her beauty, drawing them into her, and then she's selling them to these scumbags. So she gets hundreds of kids all the time. And so they get her.
Well, so this operation, he was asking for, let's bring 50 children to this
50
island,
to 60 kids,
which apparently to this sex
is a
trafficking
lot.
ring was a big,
a big
large,
number to
tall
go
order.
to one place.
Yeah.
So they're used to shipping them in ship barges and stuff
Shipping
all over
containers.
all over the US. Yeah, they throw them into shipping containers, probably what 5, 6 at a time,
Yeah.
going to different locations all over the world. So anyway, so she delivers. Then she was going to have 3 boats. 2 boats of kids arrive. But then they realize, okay, the 3rd boat is yet coming. So they wait for the 3rd boat to get there. There's some things that go down,
So
which you kind of need to watch it to kind of see what that's all about. But some things go down. They can't really do the bust yet because they want to get that 3rd boat of kids.
Where's the rest of the kids is what he was asking.
So as soon as that 3rd boat of kids gets unloaded and they have all the kids into the building, then they bust them.
So the island was already filled with all the security.
The cops are surrounded the
They were
island,
ready.
hidden, ready to go.
They're ready.
So they bust him, and I think, what did they say? They got 60 something kids.
57, I think.
57.
Yeah.
So they were able to intercept 57 kids and get them out of sex trafficking, which was amazing. But
then that was a real. So this is loosely based on true story,
Yeah.
but that was a real incident.
but he finds out that the girl he's trying to rescue was not
there
in those numbers. So one of the guys that were arrested, they get him to talk and give up her whereabouts, and she's with these guerrillas, Colombian guerrillas that nobody will touch. The police and the military in Colombia won't go there because they know they'll get killed on the spot.
It's a forbidden place.
It's a forbidden place.
Run by the bad guys.
Yep. So the main investigator guy, he decides to pose as...
True story, yes.
Yes.
This is a true story.
Yeah. He decides to pose as a medic coming in to vaccinate for cholera, which is a very deadly disease that spreads very quickly, especially in tropical areas.
There's 3. There were 3. There was the
No,
one cop
there was
guy,
the main cop and his Colombian
connection
friend. There was just the 2 of them in the boat.
And then Jim Caviezel, yeah.
So the guerrillas come out. They only let one of them go in.
And they're holding him up at gunpoint. Their
checking
life
everything
is
they
pretty
have.
much threatened.
Yeah.
They said, "Don't look at me."
Machine guns wouldn't let them look at their faces, so that they couldn't identify them. And
yeah.
So they end up taking him in. The main investigator guy. They take him in there, and he pretends that he's a medic, and he's giving these fake vaccinations to these people, and he's doing medic checks on them. And the main guerrilla guy is kind of suspicious of him, but lets him do his thing because he said he's from the United Nations, and he either needs to take the people out to avoid contamination, or he needs to be able to treat them on the spot. So of course the guerrilla guy said nobody's leaving. Nobody leaves this island. So basically everybody there is held captive by him. He doesn't allow anybody to leave.
You see a lot of kids.
Yeah. And I mean, it's looking grim for the main guy. We're thinking, how is he going to get out if he finds this girl? I mean, they're going to kill him on the way out. How is he going to? I mean, he has no weapon. He's going in with no weapon.
Guerrilla spelled a different way, and it means non-conventional warfare. So this is nothing that's set up. This is just vigilante.
So think gang, but on a bigger, deeper scale. Very, very violent. Very, very deadly.
And then the one guy going in off the record.
Mm-hmm. So he finds the girl there. Now
they get what guerrilla
is. So he finds the girl there. He tells her, undercover without anybody hearing, I'm here to help you. I'm here to save you. So then she's kind of has this hope of, okay, well, what does that really mean though? How is he going to get me out? But okay, cool. And so then, you're still wondering, well, how's he going to pull this off, right? So all of the leaders there get drunk one night.
They're playing music around fire about a bonfire.
And he goes in and talks to the girl. Well, she screams because, of course, she's scared out of her mind.
She's
these horrible
abused
people around
all
her
the time. Yeah.
So he touched her and tried to wake her up silently, but of course she screams. So then he knew the guy was going to come, and the guy hears it. The main bad guy,
And he comes.
he hears it and he says, "I got to go check on my little girl." All creepy. He says it completely creepy. It's just you just want to punch him.
The bad
guy.
Yeah.
And so he goes in there, and of course they have the altercation. So the investigator,
Gorilla just means non-conventional. The gorilla is the good guy.
And yes, he was a creep. So this guy was just dirty. I mean, literally dirty, and
yeah,
figuratively dirty. Just
this is
very nasty guy.
Jungle.
Yeah,
everybody's dirty.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes in. He has this altercation with the investigator guy, and ultimately the investigator kills the guerrilla leader. So this main guy.
So they bug out of there.
He grabs the girl and they go, right. He gets in the boat and they successfully make it out of there. Yeah, they're getting shot at, but nobody got hurt. Nobody got shot, and they got the girl back to safety.
Well, did they?
Yes,
I think.
Oh, they got her back. Nobody got shot.
But I think the guy that was at the guard that was guarding the escape boat was asleep.
Yeah. So he didn't see him leaving, and they took off in the boat. And by the time that the heads radioed into him, "Hey, watch the river," he was already gone. The investigator. So
he had a GPS on him too. So his two other friends were waiting.
So they were watching, and they saw that he was coming, and hurried up and threw the girl in their truck, and he jumped in the truck, and they took off. They were getting shot at. It was intense. I mean, you were like, okay, now they're going to get shot after all of this, and they get back, and you think that they're going to get to safety, and they're getting shot.
Yeah.
But they didn't get hurt, thankfully, and it does show at the end that he gets the little girl back to her dad. And
the dad is just
beside himself.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine, because you feel so hopeless after weeks of your little girl missing.
And then at the end of the movie, it talks about how the investigator went on to continue to get out girls and kids, and he got out, I think it's 100 and something, out of Colombia and Honduras and Ecuador, one of the other. I think it was.
Yes, he only took the one kid back.
That time.
Because he
would not have been able to carry more than one and get out of there quick enough to survive that.
And she was the only one that was right there. Maybe if there was one that was in the bed next to her or something, but there wasn't. It was just the girl that he was after.
And it was this all happened within probably 10 minutes. That he had the fight, killed the guy, grabbed the girl, took off.
Yeah.
It had to be so fast because the others were right at his heel. Yeah. So it was super intense, super emotional, especially being a parent of girls and boys, and just hearing on there what all these kids were going through, and knowing that this is something that's happening every day. Even here in the US, kids are getting stolen, and they're getting sold, and they're getting abused, and it's
a different kind of evil. Even within prisons, the pedophiles are the lowest of the low and are looked down on.
They're beat up by the other inmates. They're not liked, even in the low society.
Even in prison, there's a general understanding that
you don't violate children. That's just not okay.
Valuable.
So it was a very intense movie. I think that it was a good film to see, because I think that everyone needs to see what's happening, what is going on literally in front of us every day, right here in the US. We think the US is above these things, but really so many in the US are the perpetrators. They're the ones that are getting these kids stolen and sold to come here because the money's here. So
there's something about a movie that evokes emotion when you watch it,
especially about children. Any movie that has children in it is super emotional for me, especially when there's harm coming to children. It's hard for me to stomach that. But
and going back to the Passion of the Christ, we talk about it only because it's the same actor. The movie evokes emotion, and maybe you think
Same actor. You mean the same?
It's the same actor, Jim Caviezel.
Oh, okay.
Movies, or make you feel a certain way when you watch them that will maybe cause you to investigate things further.
They're also the same director. Mel Gibson directs both movies.
I was surprised to see his name on there too. Yeah.
This one and The Passion of the Christ are both directed by Mel Gibson, which is really kind of neat. He's a very good director.
Or I don't know if he was a director. He might have been producer or executive producer,
whichever, but he's good at what he does.
Had his hand in it for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I give this one, as far as opening your eyes, and the acting was amazing. The story was necessary. It's a necessary story to see. I would probably give it a 9.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
Yep. That's probably the same for me. It is based on a true story, but even if it were fictional, extremely well done. Good acting, very emotional. And it's also not explicit with the kids. It's just implied, and it still gets the message across. It's
one I wish we would have taken the time to see in the theater when it was in the theater.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have given it the box office.
Yeah.
Funding. But anyway, very intense. You have to be ready for a very intense movie and a very emotional movie.
Where did we watch it? Prime?
I think so. I think it was on Prime.
It's available
it's
with
for
your
free.
Prime subscription now. If you have Prime, watch it with your family.
I can double check that here. Yes, Prime.
Well, we talked a lot about that one.
Yeah, that one was a good one. The next one was John Wick. From 2014. So he's been trying to get me to watch John Wick 4. So I kind of feel like I need to start at the beginning to get the story. So I wanted to watch it from the beginning of the story.
Hey,
so
I saw
the original
this
one.
When I was sick in the Philippines, and you guys were all out, and I was just feeling so bad. And Filipino Netflix had John Wick for free at the time, and so yeah,
it was good.
I
thought it was good. I hated what happened to the dude's dog. That made me mad, and I wanted to go after the bad guys myself.
Beautiful setup of this story. I mean, so simple, and they built up John Wick perfectly, and you just wanted to keep watching.
What? John Wick is married. John Wick is good. We abandoned him so he could watch. The Philippines. Well, he was sick. That's why we abandoned him. Really, he just happened to find John Wick.
Yeah. I said, "Ooh, look at all these movies we can't not available in the United States."
Oh man. So it was good. Like he said, it was a good setup. It was a good story. You kind of feel his passion and his anger with what happened.
What a perfectly cast role.
Yes. And I love that it gives kind of the backstory of why he's so talented in killing, why he's so good at what he does. So I'm glad it gives kind of some of that story behind it. And then, he's the boogeyman.
No, that Baba Yaga was who you sent after the boogeyman.
Oh, that's right. Yes. The guy who killed the dog is wrong. And the funny thing about that guy, it was the kid, right? So it was the son of the main
big boss man.
And as soon as the big boss man got wind that his son did that stupidity, he knew he was dead. He knew right then and there his son was dead. Like there was nothing around that. You could tell, you could see his face, just the demeanor in his face just changed, and he's like, all right, gives his son a hug. This might be the last one. So,
everybody said, oh, that was, and they stole his car. He brings it into the chop shop. And then the guy that is in charge of this stolen car factory, essentially, he looks at the car and he immediately recognizes it. And he's asking all the questions.
Why did you steal John Wick's car?
Yeah.
Why do you have his car?
Where'd you get that car?
And then he talked to the boss man and said, why'd you punch? And the boss man says to him, why'd you punch my son? He stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. Oh. And that was it. He hung up, and that was the end of that conversation. He was off the hook.
That is fantastic writing right there.
It was good. It was a good movie. Some language, some obviously violence, because that's kind of what he does. He's a hitman, basically.
Long action scenes so that you can see it's not a whole bunch of cut fight sequences. so that you can see that he really is doing all of the things.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. So it was good. It was very entertaining. Good acting. I love Keanu Reeves. I always have.
Yeah.
He's great in pretty much every movie he's in.
Yes,
I think the
you got
first
the
movie
son
I
and the
saw
dad.
him in was Speed.
Speed, yeah.
I love that movie. I've watched that movie millions of times in my
And
lifetime.
Matrix.
And Matrix,
And
of course.
Matrix, yeah.
Speed was better.
What?
I'm sorry. I liked it better than Matrix. Matrix just looked too fakey to me.
What?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I know that's going to be against popular belief, but I'm sorry. It's an okay flick. It's entertaining.
Well, Speed, yeah. What do you do? What do you do?
I love it.
The Speed is good. And it's got Sandra Bullock, so good pairing.
So,
yeah, fight scenes were amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were, I think they took a really practical approach to it. It is not like a Asian martial arts. There's no flying. There's no wires.
Realistic. Even though they did do this punching crap. I mean, that's
big
not how you punch
haymakers.
somebody out.
Yeah.
But,
a lot of guns. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So what do you rate John Wick? I mean, I know you're going to rate it high.
I'll give it 9.5.
Okay. I give it a 7.5. It's good.
I think the only thing that I gave a 10 was Maverick. I think I gave it an 11 or 12.
It's not going to be easy for me to give a 10. I mean, it's
10,
pretty much going to have to be
really,
a flawless movie.
yeah.
But if you get a 9, that's pretty much the
you guys
highest.
give it 10 is great. I mean, it's
good.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah.
a good movie.
All right. The next movie we watched, we're not going to talk about tonight. You got to wait for tomorrow, The Purge. So we're going to kind of give the details on what we think about that one tomorrow. So you got to tune into that one. And then, of course, since we're all home and the kids are here during the day, today especially, we watched some kid justice / crime-ish kind of movies. So the first one is Sherlock Gnomes from 2018. So if you have kids and they like kind of that Romeo and Juliet movie, this one was another one that came out about that. So it's basically these garden gnomes that come to life and they play out these stories. So this one is they kind of play out the Sherlock Holmes story.
I like the fact that in these gnome movies they use a lot of 70s music.
Yeah.
It's really it's good. It's a really lively movie.
And the kids wouldn't catch that because, of course, they don't know the music from the 70s. But that's something that then the adults catch.
Yeah,
so
we get
it kind of
it,
gives us, it's cute. The Romeo movies are cute. They're cutesy, right?
And they're funny.
So,
and
there's a little romance between the gnomes. And there's the girl gnome and the boy gnome. And they love each other. And
all trying not to get broken.
Yeah, they try not to
stoned.
break. If they fall on the street and get hit by a car, they break into a million pieces, and that's their version of dead, right? So they try not to get dead in the movie. It's cute. For a kids movie, I would probably give it a 6.
I'm there with you.
Okay. So
yeah,
it's a pretty decent one. The next one is G-Force from 2009.
I don't know about this one.
So this one is guinea pigs from a pet store that come to life and try. I think they originally are trying to escape, right? And then they end up becoming this force that tries to rescue all their other compadres.
I think I was working on a video when you had this on.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen it a few times over the years. It halfway keeps my attention, and then I kind of halfway lose it. So my boys loved this movie when they were younger. So I don't know, they might throw a comment on here or two about used to like it. I don't know what their opinions of it are now, but so there's these trained guinea pigs. So they're somehow trained, and they're dispatched by this rich person to go out and rescue these other basically lab guinea pigs, right? So they go infiltrate this building, and try to extract these important guinea pigs for this rich guy. So that's kind of the whole theme.
They're guinea pig
when
smugglers?
You were 5. Yes, I know you were young when you liked this movie. I named my guinea pig Agent Mocha. Yeah. So this movie makes an impression on the kids, right? It is cute. It's cute how it's kind of like what a human agent would do and go in and do, but it's these little guinea pigs, right? So it's cutesy.
It's a cute animal to use, I
I
guess. In
think
the
the
movie.
agent part came from the movie. Yeah, you're right. It did. So they were called Agent, whatever their names were. One of the funny scenes that I found was they were in this pet store, and they try to get out this vole. Who this vole was like their super intelligence guy, right? Like he does all the undercover computer work and stuff. And they try to rescue him because he's going to get fed to the snake.
Is he blind?
He's dead.
Oh.
And the pet owners take him out and see the dump truck or the trash truck and end up throwing him straight into the trash truck. Then the guinea pigs are like, oh, well, that wasn't part of the plan. So they lose their super agent guy in the dump truck or the trash truck. Yeah, he did. He got compacted. I saw him get compacted in the truck. So
that was like World War Z when they bring the doctor over and then he gets killed right away.
Yeah. So I mean, it was kind of one of those things. It was funny. It's cutesy. I would probably give it a 5.
I'll give it an advanced rating of 4.5.
You've never seen that movie, really?
Maybe not.
Not even in your childhood, younger?
Maybe not concentrating on it.
Oh, man.
Wow, I was 29.
I mean, the kids watched it. You never watched it with them when they watched it younger?
Maybe I was distracted.
Okay.
I remember it being on the TV before.
Boys, should we make them watch it?
Oh.
Let us know what you think. All right. We watched that with you a lot. See? I figured so. And I think if he sat down and watched it, it would come back to him. He'd remember it. Okay.
Cook a ribeye first.
All right. The Great Mouse Detective from 1986. I mean, back to those 80s movies we've said before.
This is one of my
favorite 80s movies.
Favorite kids movies.
So you go ahead and talk about this one.
1986. So this is probably really close to The American Tail, which also involved mice. And so The Great Mouse Detective.
Sorry, what do you rate it? Tell us your rating. You went downstairs for this one. Yeah, so I'm sure it rates really high with you right now too.
The Great Mouse Detective is pretty fun, and they have a Sherlock Holmes kind of character. That's funny because we just got done talking about Sherlock gnomes.
Okay, they give it a 7 and 8.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good.
For the concept alone. Huh.
That's good. I mean, that's why everybody has their own
There you
opinions,
go.
right? So that's good. Okay.
And so Great Mouse Detective was a pretty fun movie. It kind of gives me that Oliver and Company feel with the way the animation is, and also An American Tail, similar animation. It's just a fun movie to watch to reminisce of your childhood. The scene that sticks out the most in me is the point where they are about to be executed, but it's this Rube Goldberg kind of machine, and the mouse detective is, I can't remember his name, but he is
Basil.
Basil, that's right, doing the calculations in his head, and he tells his partner at the exact time we got to release the trap because they're sitting in a mouse trap tied up. And then you watch this little Rube Goldberg machine, go into action, and then he saves them all, and even ends it with a snapshot with a camera that was there. So it's a fun movie.
So Oliver and Company is another movie from the early 80s, I want to say.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah, really good movies. They're just original classic Disney movies. Or Disney? Are they Disney?
I think that one was Disney.
Yeah, I think they are. I don't know.
Oliver and Company was
this one's not. But
voice actors was Billy Joel, who voiced Dodger.
Yeah.
Which we named one of our dogs Dodger.
Yeah. So it's cute. So what would you rate this one?
I'd probably give it a 7. It's a childhood favorite.
Yeah, same. All right. So that is The Great Mouse Detective. And then, of course, we try to hit a TV series. So we've kind of off and on throughout this week. 0. What? You haven't seen it. You can't give it a 0 if you haven't seen it. So the TV series we kind of tried to watch some of, which we'd seen in the past anyway, was Judge Judy. So you gotta love you some Judge Judy. I mean, she's so cynical and so Just, this is my courtroom. I do what I want. I say what I want, but you don't get to.
And
I love that about
she's
her.
reasonable. She'll call you out whether you're the plaintiff or the defendant, and so she has integrity.
And she is not afraid to kick you out of her courtroom if you are blabbing your mouth a little too much. I love how she does not tolerate language. So if there's any bad language used, you're instantly kicked out until you can control yourself. Yeah. So I like that about her. I like that she likes things a certain way, and she's very much a rule follower. And
when I was growing up, I watched The People's Court with Judge Wapner. That was a good one, but he's not like Judge Judy. Judge Judy was far more entertaining to watch.
Very much so. And she says, I get paid the big bucks to be eccentric.
Lord Goodrell, you used to watch The People's Court or Judge Judy?
People's Court.
Yeah, The People's Court was Judge Wapner, a really old guy with gray hair.
I don't think we've ever shown that.
No, we haven't watched that over here.
Yeah.
Oh, Judge Judy. Okay, yeah.
I like Judge Judy. I think it's fun. I used to watch that with Lolo and Lola. Oh, okay. Well, it's entertaining. I like watching her. I like seeing the cases. I like seeing the stupid people that are just so petty with each other. Not that I like seeing that, but it's just kind of like,
these are petty things.
Man, it's so stupid. A lot of the things
when people can't settle their disagreements outside of court, and then they go through all of this effort.
There are some that are legitimate cases that need to be seen by her. Like there was that one that was a child abuse case.
Oh, really?
Where the dad was the mom was trying to get the dad to have to pay her some money, but she had relinquished all of her rights to the kid because she was abusive to the kid.
Oh.
But yet she wanted to get some money back. She felt like the dad needed to be paying her some money for alimony. And he's like, no, I have full custody of our daughter. You paid nothing. Why would I owe you anything? Okay. You know? And so it was kind of, and Judy agreed and said, you get nothing. You're low life. You didn't care or love your child and gave her up to go do drugs and do your own thing. Why are you entitled to anything? You're not entitled to anything but jail time. That's basically what she told her. So she got nothing. So there's cases like that where you do need somebody to basically slap you in the face and say, you're not getting what you think you deserve because you're not worthy of getting what you think you deserve.
She's a good lesson teacher too. There was one episode that I remember where you got two neighbors bickering over, I think it was petty. Even if it wasn't, there was involved, and she was saying, your kid is following, if you guys can't just learn to resolve your disagreements and get along cordially with one another, your kid is learning from you, and essentially is going to grow up like
bad values.
You're just going to propagate this bad behavior.
Everything's against kids this stream. Not everything, just happens to be that one movie and then a couple of the episodes of Judge Judy. But in the end of Judge Judy, the one who deserves the good gets it at the end, and the one who deserves the bad gets it. So there's a lot of cases she just dismisses because they're just stupid. They're petty and they're nonsense, and both parties are guilty, and so they don't deserve.
Because somebody could have stopped it, but they didn't, and here they are in court.
Right. So anyway,
the other judge that I like is Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Okay. So Judge Judy, according to IMDb, there are 7,282 episodes. Needless to say, we did not make it through 7,282 episodes. We watched
been going on a long time.
Maybe 15 this week.
I think the episodes that we caught on there were from the early 90s.
Yeah, they're early ones.
Oh, yeah, 96. She started in 96.
Yeah. So we watched the really early ones. I may over time, get through the rest of them, but I don't know, 7,000, that's an awful lot of episodes. I may not ever make it through the end of Judge Judy.
By the time Laura's out of the house.
Right. But anyway, so that's what we have for you this week. I know we went a little long. We're an hour in almost. Man, I can't believe
there
we
were
talked
some
for that
good
long.
movies to talk about.
Yeah, good ones to check out. Sound of Freedom and John Wick are high on our recommendation list. We would recommend watching those.
Leave the World Behind. You should definitely see that one. If you want a good ending, you should go see it. It's free on. Hold on, we'll tell you. It's free on Netflix, so there's no commercials. So good.
That's probably the best part of the whole movie is no commercials.
What did I rate that? 5. So good.
Okay. So there you have it, guys. Check out our review of The Purge tomorrow. All right. So we'll catch you in a few hours.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.